The rise and fall of US banks. What led to the recent collapse? Hello and welcome to this video on the recent collapse of US banks. In this video, we'll be discussing the factors that led to this downfall and the impact it had on the banking sector. The US banking sector has always been one of the most profitable and stable sectors in the world. However, in recent years, the sector has experienced significant turbulence, culminating in the recent collapse of several major US banks. One of the main factors that contributed to the collapse was the 2008 financial crisis, which saw the collapse of major institutions such as Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns. The crisis was triggered by the housing market crash, which led to a surge in mortgage defaults and a decline in housing prices. The banks had invested heavily in mortgage-backed securities, which turned out to be worthless, leading to significant losses. This, in turn, led to a liquidity crisis, as the banks were unable to meet their obligations. Another factor that contributed to the collapse was the deregulation of the banking sector in the 1990s. This allowed banks to take on more risk and engage in speculative activities, which led to the creation of complex financial products that were difficult to value and understand. These products were often highly leveraged, meaning that a small decline in the underlying asset values could lead to significant losses. This was exactly what happened during the financial crisis, as the value of mortgage-backed securities plummeted, leading to massive losses for banks that had invested in them. The collapse of the U.S. banks had a significant impact on the banking sector and the wider economy. Many banks were forced to close, and others had to be bailed out by the government to prevent a complete collapse of the financial system. The collapse also had a significant impact on the global economy, as many countries were heavily exposed to the U.S. banking sector. The collapse led to a global recession, which had a severe impact on employment and economic growth. In conclusion, the collapse of the U.S. banks was caused by a combination of factors, including the 2008 financial crisis and the deregulation of the banking sector. The impact of the collapse was significant, both for the banking sector and the wider economy. It serves as a warning of the dangers of excessive risk-taking and the need for effective regulation of the banking sector. While the sector has recovered somewhat since the crisis, there is still a long way to go to ensure that such a collapse never happens again.